Go Flat Tracker. Go Flat Tracker. Go, go, go.
Club and Flat Track Pod brought to you by our partners. ShredDesign.co. If you're looking for the sickest jersey prints in the biz, look no further than ShredDesign.co on Facebook. Europa Fencing, the place to go for all your rural fencing needs. Classic wheel spokes, Otway Hydro Blasting, make your old girl look new again. Plus, our newest partner, MX Inc. Do you want your bike to stand out in the crowd with custom graphics done by the best? Then contact Luca and the team at MX Inc. And last but not least, Clava, keeping you on track for longer. Now, onto the episode.
All right, welcome to the Glover Flat Track Pod. Our next episode, joined by Tom Northey. We're both dodgy as I'm going to leave that swear word out. We're both dodgy as Tom's worked all night, and I went nightclubbing for the first time in 20 years or something. I think it was with my two young adult children, which was very entertaining. It was not like any nightclub experience I've had before. It was at a place called Piano Bar in Ballarat, and what it is two singers. One's a piano player and one's just a vocalist, and they take requests all night, and it's the weirdest thing I've ever danced to. But anyway, we did dance, and there was lots of drunk people, and it was hilarious because I think I was the only sober one with about 300 drunk people. Apart from the staff, I'm pretty sure they're sober. Some of them I think might have been high, but it was it was interesting. It's very they're very gay friendly. There's no political way that everyone's welcome sort of place. It was very different.
Right.
My wife and I actually danced together, which I don't think we've done probably more than 20 years, but it was a lot of fun. And what about your night, mate? How'd you go?
Yeah, not bad. Yeah, obviously worked as usual. Tried to get some bikes sorted out for a race team, which was successful. So yeah, not too bad, but yeah, definitely a long night, 12 hours. That was for sure.
Well, we'll try not to make this go any more than 5 hours, so it should be fine. This one's all about Tom's victory, getting on the podium at the Aussie track titles in Brisbane, obviously. So embrace yourself for some riveting stuff there. Now we're just covering the whole event, aren't we, Tom? And we're going to have a quick look at the new Australian flat track rules in the rule book.
The rules package for this year.
Oh, what are they called? GCRs.
That's it.
General Competition Rules or something, something like that.
That sounds good.
Already ballsing it up, and I'm not even got lag as an excuse or anything. So we've had a few good runner pods actually lately. Go and check. I just wanted to mention this. I have noticed that some people have been. So if you're new to listening to the podcast and that, we've got a huge backlog on Spotify. It's not quite as big on YouTube because we started doing that. Well, I started doing that a bit later. And then Tom came in. I'll have to have a look at what episode you came in. It was after Bathurst. Anyway, the first Bathurst one we did.
Yeah, Appen round one.
Yeah, that's it. Appen round one you came in. Yeah, so... And then I haven't been able to get rid of him since. So
you keep calling me, telling me to come back.
it's good, actually. Yeah, it's really good. So I was speaking to Brendan the other day, who used to jump on with me a bit, and he's keen to come back on, which is good. And we were just actually talking off here about doing something pretty cool. So you might see something happen in the next few days of us testing something out, and then we'll announce what we're going to do. And hopefully you can all join in, and it's nice and interactive, and we have a good time. Wonder if we should do it at night time. And then everyone can have a few beers together.
Yeah, that'll make it very interesting.
So let's get started. Brisbane, was it last weekend?
Yes.
Yeah, gee, it feels so long ago. So much has happened. Well, for me, my middle daughter Sky, which calls out our partners at the start of every pod, it was very naughty, and she had my dad come over from New Zealand and surprise me, which was fantastic. And I almost had a heart attack because I thought she was picking up a mate, and then this big foot come out of the car. I'm going, should her mate's growing a bit, It was my old man. So picked him up from the airport. So that was really nice. And then last Friday, our eldest daughter from the UK, they did the same. So she's here for a visit at the moment. All the things I had lined up and planned doing, working on Harleys and chopping firewood and moving trees and all this sort of shit, it's now juggling around catching up and entertaining and actually spending time together. So it's made it even more hectic. But we have managed to get a few pods out. Grant Charnock, Kelsey Jensen, and I've done one with an American couple. How are you doing, Roger? That racing, which is fantastic. That will be the one before this one. And yeah, make sure you listen to those, listen to the backlog, and keep the comments. And if you do like what we're doing, keep that coming. Let us know, because it really does help motivate us. You probably hear it on a lot of podcasts. You know, we're all volunteers, just like clubs, and that we're doing this because we want the sport to grow and we love doing it. So I just wanted to remind everyone and thank everyone for their support that have reached out. It does help motivate us. But let's get into Brisbane. Last weekend, now we've clarified that. What was it all like?
Yeah, it was great. It was called or promoted by the Landscaping Yard and Hardware Australian Track Championship 2024, and yeah, the track was unreal. The way it was all set up, the weather wasn't exactly in our favour. It was it was a fair few crashes and a fair few delays with ambulances and things like that. But yeah, even after the rain on Saturday, we still ran pretty much a whole nother full round, and even with all the rain, the track conditions was unreal. It didn't seem slick or slippery or anything like that. So yeah, they hats off to the North Brisbane Junior Motorcycle Club for all their work they did for the event, and all the volunteers and everyone as well. It yeah, definitely ran smoothly, considering yeah, a lot of odds were stacked against us, but we got through it relatively quick, actually. I think it finished at about 2:30, maybe 3 o'clock on Saturday, and I think it was about the same on Sunday too. So
Yeah,
yeah, they
so it
got
runs
through.
across 2 days.
Yeah, 2 days. Yeah, ran. They had 4 rounds of racing in heats, and then the repechage, and then finals at the end of that. And yeah, funnily enough, it was meant to be a fair bit of rain on the Sunday, but there was yeah, sun come out, and yeah, the end of the Sunday was fantastic. The finals were yeah, definitely nail biting and thrilling, and a lot of controversy as well. But yeah, it was awesome racing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
especially at
looking
that
forward
level.
to getting into that because I didn't hear all about that. And yeah, we're going to talk about some of the rules, and we was going to talk about flat track mainly, but it's interesting. I don't think I've seen anything about that in there, so I wonder how that became a thing. But anyway, yeah,
Yeah.
without rattling the hornet's nest too much,
Well,
which I'm sure we're probably going to be actually.
I am going to get into it because there was a lot of questions asked of why and how, and but that happens before and why not now and everything. But I'm going to tread it lightly, but I'm going to pretty much say it how I saw it, or what a lot of people's different opinions of what they think should or should not have
Well,
happened too. So yeah,
Well, you brought up a good point before, if it's written in ink, it's written in ink sort of thing.
yep,
But some of the stuff we've been hearing about protesting and that, it's not even written in ink. Not 100%, like this is where we as a community can really help EMA. It's not, we can't expect EMA to do everything. They construct these rules and that off our input. So yeah, if you've
yep.
got ideas and concerns and stuff, you've got to send it into them so that the committees can look over it and go, actually, that makes sense. And and don't get upset if they do fob your idea off or whatever, because it's just there's a commission for each discipline. They'll look over it and hopefully put it in if it's a good one. But there is a couple of things that we've heard lately. Yeah, like arrows and that. There's nothing in there about having to have the tyre running the arrow. It just says a universal lock pattern tyre.
Oh yeah,
So,
we'll definitely get into
so,
that at the end when
so
we
I,
bring those rules up.
yeah, I guess that means, yeah, if the arrow's not pointing both ways. But yeah, I don't know. It's funny, isn't it?
And I know everyone's
Mm.
scratching at the bit to hear what we've got to say and everything about what happened at the end of that 450 final. But I will get into it after I
Yeah,
read them results out, because that was the final race of the weekend. So I'll get into that directly after I read the results out. And yeah, let us know what you think. Let us know why or what happened or what should have happened. Yeah, we definitely want to know and hear your opinions too. Yeah, it's anything's yeah, anything's better than nothing, but we definitely want to know what you think about the situation.
Yeah, for sure. Interested. I am. I'm talking like Yoda for some reason, but
All right.
um,
Oh shit.
I'm
What?
interested, Tom. What was the atmosphere like? So I saw from the outside with a bit of video and stuff. Was there lots of signage? Was there sponsors? Yeah, sponsors there with marquees, that sort of stuff. Was there food vans? Was there lots of people spectating? Was it mainly the riders and their families? What was the atmosphere like?
Well, it's sort of hard to say. The atmosphere in general, because obviously an Australian Championship is still there, the hype's there, the nervousness is still there, the professionalism's there. Crowd wise, I've only been to that track, I think it's my third time now, and I dare say it was the same as the other times. I wouldn't say the hills were overflowing with people, but there was definitely a fair few people there. I didn't really see any sponsors marquees up on the hill. That was obvious.
Yeah,
I kind of wasn't exactly looking up at the crowd while we are on the track, but
no,
I didn't really get a chance to go anywhere near the hill or anything like that until sort of towards the end of the second day. Yes, there was a lot of signage around with obviously sponsors and people promoting the event and whatnot as well. What else could I say with that? But yeah, I dare say a lot of it would have been the riders, family, friends, yeah, and supporters in that respect. But yeah, yeah, can't really say if there was anyone that didn't have family members or friends racing, but yeah, it was definitely a good hype. It was definitely a good turnout as in competitors wise, and yeah, it was all in all it was a great weekend. Yeah.
rightio, cool. So I can see on our screen. So if you're watching via YouTube, you'll see Tom sharing his screen there. We've got Pro Open Women, Pro 450, 85, two-stroke, 154 stroke support class, ATV Open. Now, Women's Pro 250 Open. What's the big one on the side there?
On the right, the
Left,
Pro
scroll down.
450.
No. This. Oh, you can't see
Oh,
anything.
MX Open it would be.
Oh, yeah. MX
Yeah,
Open, Pro
yeah,
450. They're all championship classes. The junior classes are supports, and the over 35
40
is support.
over
Over
40s.
40 is
Yeah.
support classes. So everything
Which I was
else.
speaking to one rider in that, and he said it was sort of I think they only brought that class in 10 days before the event.
Right.
So
Okay.
it wasn't, I don't think the class was presented or eligible to enter until not long beforehand. But that was only just from a competitor in that class. So I think
Yeah.
most of them were from that club. And I think there was only one that wasn't that come up from Sydney and race that event. Yeah. So yeah, not 100% sure why, but yeah, normally the over 35s or over 40s class is normally a support, but yeah,
Okay.
I guess they put.
So I'd like to know, I'd like to hear feedback from people. Maybe we can present it to the committees and that sort of thing. Would you like to see no support classes at an Aussie title and only title classes
Mm.
and have like over 40s included in that? So take the junior classes out of the senior event and maybe have a couple other age groups. So like 35 to 40s, something like that. Then 40. Well, it's going to have to be 45. And I don't know, even it up 40 to 45 sounds wrong, but 40 to 50 or something, and then 50 plus or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, could we try things like this in the future? And I know the kids want to ride, but they have their own championships too, which without from memory, there doesn't seem to be any senior supports at their championship.
No.
So if that was going to be your throwback at me, I think that covers that. Yeah, it's great to have the kids there, and I'm not saying we don't want them there. I'm just looking at things a little bit differently and wondering if we can get some other championship classes happening. I know the juniors aren't championship classes anyway, so it really doesn't make much difference. It just changes things up. It is a championship. I'm just wondering what people think about that, if they think the support classes are necessary or not. Just throw us a line, a comment on this pod. There's comment sections that you can comment in. Yeah, let us know what you think about that. All right,
I
over to
actually
you,
got
Tom.
asked by three people why there isn't an over 35 championship club.
Yeah.
And I'm not,
Yes.
I'd like to know the reason why. I'm not having a stab at them because they don't have that, but if they've got the
Mate,
numbers and they can fill 2-3 grids,
yeah.
why wouldn't you have that as a championship class? There's probably a logical reason behind it. But yeah, if anyone knows, or let us know. Comment, text, send me a message.
Yeah.
Anything. That'd be
For
great
this pod,
information.
that's probably the strongest message that I'm trying to send to people is don't sit. If you've got an opinion, don't sit there just because you don't know how to email. Find out how to email or the subcommittee. Find a contact or a way to email them with these concerns and points, because that is a recurring one that I hear a lot as well. Is it not a championship class for the old boys, which are definitely not slow. It's still competitive as it's a
Oh, hell yeah.
bloody hard class actually. So yeah, just if you're in that boat and you want to be a championship, then you've got to make yourself heard. Otherwise, the people on the subcommittees and that don't think it's important or relevant. So yeah, make sure it's heard. Looks like we're going to the overalls. And we're
Yeah.
starting off with the pro women's.
Yeah, the pro women's was overheat, which obviously means that there was less than 12 or 12 that had entered. So this is the overall points over the whole lot. And the women's class was great racing. I think there might have been, I thought there was more than 9 that entered. It might be only showing 9. But the winner of the pro women's class was Brioni Hendrickson. Second place was Taylor Street, and third place was Kelsey Jensen. And all the girls were going for it. They were obviously the first ones out, so they had fresh track every time, and they definitely utilised it. The racing was great. There was a couple of times that Brony didn't have it all her way. If you scroll across here, I think she might have gotten second in one of them. Second in the 4th round. And I think Taylor beat her in that one. But yeah, she definitely was consistent enough to take out the championship for the women's class. I think that's her, if I remember, I think it might have been her 14th Australian title.
I
So if
saw
that's the
that.
case,
Yeah.
well done, Brony. That's a massive
Congratulations.
effort. I think you actually might be holding the record for the most Australian titles won. But I know Trelaw has won 10 or 11. I think Lee Adams has won 10. So yeah, no, congratulations. That's a solid effort.
Yep, fantastic. I would like to learn a bit more about Brioni. I don't know a lot about her apart from she's up Queensland way. I did see a write up about the championships in Queensland dominated. If we're going to get into a state of origin sort of scenario, it was
Yeah, yep.
fantastic. It was fantastic, and I'm very proud of. Even though Taylor is sort of New South Wales, Victoria, she's up by the border there. Obviously representing Victoria too. Victorian female riders up the top is fantastic to see. All right, what are we moving on to?
For sure. We've got 85 two-strokes, which is the juniors. All right, first place was Levi Layton. Second place was Bo Baker. Third place was Taylor Howard. Fourth place was Cameron Pritchard. Well done, Cameron. You rode well, mate. Fifth place was Henry Nichols. Sixth was Braxton Layton. Seventh was Harrison O'Brien. And eighth was Maverick Fleewell Smith. So thank you to the juniors for coming up and supporting the Australian Track Championships. It gives us a little bit more of a break. It's definitely warranted you guys being there. It's great. All right. The next is the MX Open, and there was five heats per round of this. So yeah, it was definitely
Phase 4 there though.
Yeah, they're 4 rounds or 4 heats or 4 rounds and then repechage final. But there was 5 grids. Sorry, I should say 5 grids.
Righto.
Yeah, and as you can all expect, this was an absolute fist fight every single race, every single round. There was a couple of riders that coming off the track, sort of face to face, nudging helmets. So it got a bit heated at one point, and it was it was actually great to watch. The winner in that one was no surprise, Jared Brook. Second place, Rory McCalter. Third place, Reed Batty. And those fellas were on it all weekend. It was even in the heat races, no one backed off. No one, everyone was just up it for the rent. So that was fantastic. Do you want to read the any more down the list?
Actually, I was just over. I was talking over you. Sorry, but by accident. I was wondering if the guys that were helmet to helmet, was it just like the top 10 riders, the top 3 riders, or was it just throughout the whole field?
No. Those two were the well known riders that you normally see them towards the top of the grid. Yeah, it was. I don't know. Should I say or shouldn't say, or it doesn't
I
matter?
don't know. Say it.
Well, I'm pretty sure it was Reed Batty and Kaishan Will when they come off the track. I didn't
Okay.
see exactly what had happened because we were kind of in the dummy grid. We were directly behind the MX Open, and yeah, that was they were face to face. There was no punches thrown, but there was definitely not no handshaking and nice words. And afterwards, it
Well,
was
yeah.
yeah, they were definitely very heated. But yeah, that's the passion of racing in such a
Yeah,
championship.
well, that's championship racing. And sorry, what were you asking me if I wanted to carry on reading? Did you
Oh,
do the
I'd
top?
read the rest of the
Did you do the top
placings all the way
10?
down.
We'll just do the top 10.
Actually, did I? Nope,
I
I
think you.
didn't. Good. I thought I completely
So
shit the
where
bed
did you
then, but
get
I
up to?
didn't.
You got up to Caution, got fourth.
Yeah, what I clicked
Yeah.
on then was the points, but the results actually worked out exactly like the point. Yeah, there was fourth place was Caution Will, fifth place was Daniel Wick, sixth place was Cody Lewis, seventh place was David Smith, eighth place was Zane Kennedy, and I got to say, I haven't seen Zane ride a hell of a lot, but geez, mate, you were very, very smooth. You stood out a lot to me, and Matt, when we were watching your guys' races. But yeah, you were very, very smooth rider. Ninth was Lachlan Moody. 10th was Nolan Cardinal. 11th was Cooper Anderson. And Michael Price rounded out the final in the MX Open. Yeah, so that's well done to you guys, even to make the final in such a stacked field. That's a solid effort. All right, I'll move on to the
Oh.
sidecars, 1100 cc's. This is my favourite one. All right, first place was Darren Feen and Sean Feen. Second place was Matthew Davies and Tom Northey. Third place was Joel Askew and Tyson Keogh. Fourth place was Stephen Liebke and Matthew Doyle. Fifth place was Troy Pitchard and Christopher Gibbs. The sixth place was Donna Probert and David Martin. And
Sorry, mate, I forgot to go. Yay for the second place.
don't worry about it.
I
You've
shouldn't
already
be
given me the round
biased,
of
should
applause and cuddles and everything, so that's all right. And
I?
yeah, I was pumped for Tyson getting third in the Australian Championship. I can see he was over the moon. He was jumping up and down like a lunatic. So well done, bud, and well done, Joel. You rode great as well, and well done to Donna too. She's on a classic bike and definitely circulated and gathered the points and made the final. So yeah, well done to Donna.
Well, you obviously had a great meet. For those that don't know, Matt and Tom, I think it's their third ride together.
Yep.
And first on this bike.
Second. We've
Second.
done one club date and a peen, and then this one.
Yeah, so yeah, tremendous effort by you guys as well, going up against some long-standing top runners. So yeah, and it looked good. The video footage that I saw, there was something happened near the second to last lap or something where it looked like you were closing in, and then all of a sudden the gap got bigger again. You did tell me what it was. I was sort of watching footy at the same. My daughter play footy at the same time, so I was trying to do it
Yeah,
conspicuously.
it's obviously the in the final. Darren and Sean Fan unbeaten in the heats, and we were as well until we matched up with them in the fourth round. Yeah, we knew it was going to be a tall order trying to catch him and trying to figure out tyre choice and everything else in between. And I'd like to thank Derek Wade for filming the sidecar classes and posting them so everyone that couldn't attend the event could see it. Yeah, Matt and I got a pretty average start, and Darren's pretty good out of the gate, so he launched pretty hard. So we knew, we knew we were behind the eight ball from the start. What about the fourth? I think it was fourth or fifth lap. We caught right up behind them. And into turn 1 and 2, and Matt went slightly wide to try and come underneath to get up on the inside to try and make the pass into turn 3 and 4. And yeah, there was a back marker that we'd caught up to, and as sort of Matt went wide to cut back under to drag race him down the straight, we had to go further inside around the back marker, so we didn't ride over the top of him. So that we lost a fair bit of ground there, and by the end of it, we did catch back up to him, but yeah, we ran out of time, ran out of laps, and I'm guessing that's just the way it goes. So for me, that's the third year in a row I've gotten second in the Australian Track Championships, which is Yeah, I'm still proud, but yeah, the first one was only a support class. It wasn't a championship, but last year and this year both were. So yeah, it was a solid effort by Matt. He rode absolutely great, and massive thanks to Len McFarlane and Jack as well, and Dad that come up and all the work they did, and yeah, got us up there and back. And yeah, we're proud to to achieve second place. It's only our sort of second outing on this bike, so we're really looking forward to the Australian titles in Proserpine and yeah, in Corindai and the rest of the year, and hopefully future years we can try and get on that top step.
Yeah, which you're now going to. You weren't going to, were you? But I think some sponsorship and stuff has helped you out that side. Is that right? Have I got that right?
Yeah. Well, a fire sort of lit under Matt's belly, and he was sort of arming and ahhing about it, thinking it's a bit of a track, but he got a few things sorted out, and yeah, a lot of helping hands from people that saw potential in what we can or what we could do. So yeah, we've decided to go balls to the wall, in my opinion, and try and do everything we possibly can, and yeah, and hopefully get on that top step.
That's awesome, and I hear a couple stories of new sponsorship deals actually coming out of this meeting, so that's fantastic. Couple other riders, I think. Kelsey Jensen and Daniel Leonetti picked up some extra sponsorship too, which is going to help them get up there as well. I think I'm pretty sure. Don't quote me that they are 100% going to the dirt track titles, but I'm pretty sure that sealed the deal for them. So yeah,
Yeah.
for us guys down here, I think it's about 24 hours one way, something similar to that. What's it for you? About 12, isn't it?
No, it's
20.
even longer than that. I think it's 22 hours for us to get to Proserpine.
Shit.
Yeah, so I think you
Well,
guys are
we're
another
10.
8 on top of that. I think
Well,
you are.
yeah, pretty much. I call it 10 if you include all your stops and shit and your
Yeah.
breakdowns and, going slow like an old fart. But
Yeah, like
yeah,
well,
I sort of
as you
call it 10
said,
for
Kelsey and
Sydney.
Daniel received a surprise bonus after their great rides at the Aussie titles on the weekend. They've picked up a sponsorship of Custom Data Solutions after they impressed the head of the company with their passion and hard work. She saw how much work and dedication goes into races to these meetings, and decided that Custom Data would love to be a part of the racing journey to help make it possible and keep the race dreams going. So it just goes to show that your attitude and your presence off the track makes as much noise as it does on the track. So yeah, this wasn't something that neither of Kelsey or Daniel approached them about. They walked up and saw the way Daniel and Kelsey carried themselves, and yeah, obviously helped him out. Offered to help him out, which is yeah, I'm pretty much hopefully that's helping him get to the Aussie titles up at Proserpine. So that's fantastic, and congratulations to Daniel and Kelsey for all their hard work and dedication, and it's definitely paying off. So yeah, take that and run, and we'll see you up at Proserpine, hopefully on the box again.
One thing I'll add to that for everyone else as well is I do know that that business has nothing to do with racing whatsoever.
Yeah.
We're invited along to come and check it out by somebody, and that's how they got there and saw what happens and that. So what I'm angling at there is tell everyone about our sport, invite them down to watch a meeting like that, especially even club days, and yeah, it's just we all know that saying, it's not what you know, it's who you know, and it is a bit like that, introducing people to the sport. You just never know, what can come out of it. And I think, they went down there for just a relaxing day to check something out that's a bit different, and saw potential there for their business. So a great indicator of what can happen just by talking about our sport. And Tom and I were talking about this offline before too. Show people videos when you're talking about it. Don't just walk away from that conversation and then go, "Oh, I should have showed them a video." Just take the time, pull it out, show them this is what we do. This is what dirt track is or flat track is, and you pretty much get, "Oh, that's awesome," every time. I've done it. A lot of people I talk to don't know what I do, and I show them and they go, "Oh, wow, really?" And then we show them the podcast, and that just blows their mind. And I have had a few people turn up to local club meetings and that, and said they wanted to come down and have a look. So yeah, make sure you talk the sport up wherever you are. So I'm rambling. Let's go. Points over 40s.
Yeah,
Support class.
we got the vets class, the over 40s. Like I said, I'm pretty sure this was only offered to them not long before the event. So at least to get 10 show up was was absolutely fantastic. And it's the racing's it's no different or no less than any other classes, only because they're over 40s. If anything, it's probably a little bit more brutal because they're trying to relive their youth or try and be as fast as they used to. But first place was Tony Walsh. Second place was Rodney Kratzman. And third place was Darren Webb. Fourth place was Sean Doak. Fifth place was Tony Sexton. Sixth place was Diane McCullen. Seventh place was Martin Lurie. Sorry if I butcher your name, brother. Eighth place was Miles Rowe. Ninth place was Jason Borg. And 10th place was Dennis Leapy. So thank you for coming out and supporting the Aussie titles, even though your class is a support class. But like I said before, hopefully, hopefully they turn it into a championship class or something along those lines. I reckon you'll get some pretty fast over 35ers rock up to most of the events. And even ones that are retired might come back out of the woodworks again and want to see what they can do.
Oh, yeah, you're tripping me out.
Sorry, mate. Yeah, just close your eyes when I do that so you don't go haywire.
Pro 250 we haven't done.
Yeah, this is the next one, Pro 250s. And surprisingly, this didn't have more than one grid. I'm pretty sure it was only 11 or 12 that entered this one, which Pro 250 used to be very heavily contested. But yeah, congrats and thanks to everyone showing up and supporting that class. I always thought the Pro 250s was sort of the next premier class down from the Pro 450s. But
do you think just running two bikes is getting too much for some?
Yeah. Well, that could be it as well. I know Jared Brook doesn't enter the Pro 250 anymore, which is I think he's won enough of them to focus on the bigger classes. But unbeaten on 125 points was Rory McCoulter. Second place was Ben McLaughlin. Third place was Talon Cardinal. And well done, Talon, mate. You rode like an absolute demon. I was keeping my eye on you all weekend. You were definitely on fire and wringing the neck off that thing. Third place is Michael Moore. Fifth place is Lachlan Moody. Sixth place is Brooke Hutchins. Seventh place was Cougar Arapov. Sorry if I butcher your name, buddy. Eighth place is Olivia Jinks. Ninth place was Jaden Roberts. 10th place was Clay Clegg. And 11th place was Rodney Kratzman. And I'm sorry if I didn't read anyone's name out. It just shows me down to 11th. If there was
Great result there from Olivia, was she in the women's?
I'll let you know right now. Yes, she was. Yep. Yes.
Oh,
so good on you for contesting both classes there.
Yeah, seventh.
We'd go
women's
down
eighth and 250s.
ATV Open.
All right, the four wheelers.
The quads.
Oh, yeah, I thought it wasn't coming up for a minute.
No, it's when you click on it, it goes to the bottom of the page. You just scroll up instead of it's stupid. All right. First place in this was the number 1 of Matthew Griffiths. Second place was 66 of Joshua Griffiths. Third place was 93 of Chevy Green. Fourth place was 55 of Jeffrey McKee. Fifth place was the 666 of Chauffeur Green. And sixth place was the 888 of Colin Green.
This is a family affair, is it?
Yeah, but the sales, a battle of the families, yeah. No, well done to those guys, and thanks. Actually, these guys, did we figure out if they were from up that way? They from Queensland?
I think they are, yeah, but I didn't figure that out. I only read about it. So.
Yeah. So, well done. Well done to Matthew for holding on to your number 1 plate. It was solid effort.
Good fast times there too, 22s.
Yeah, I actually don't think Matthew had it all his own way. I think there was one of them he might have had a pretty average start and had to come back. And as I could see, there wasn't a hell of a lot of passing spaces for sidecars and quads. So well done for reeling that one in. All right, we've got the 125 2-stroke 254 stroke 13 under 16, I'm sure. It's only showing me 6 here, but I think that may be right. First place was the 177 of Nico Donovan. Second place was the 291 of Hamish Bibby. Third place was the 954 of Sonny Austin. Fourth place was the 232 of Jay Park. Fifth place was the 522 of Romy Flewell Smith. And sixth place was the 284 of Micah Hicks. So thanks to those juniors again for coming up and supporting this senior track championships. Would have been good to see a full grid of them, but we can completely understand with the junior program that it's not not as easy to attend all the events, especially the senior ones too. All right. We're down to the so-called Premier class. And like I said, this one's got massive controversy over it. a lot of opinions, a lot of, that shouldn't have happened and what should have happened. But I'll start from the start. The start of the meeting, David Smith was pretty sure he's the clerk of the course. And he was reading everyone's rights as they do every race meeting. And he was saying, I'm not going to quote this, but it was something along the lines of, if you were deemed using the fence to your advantage, as in riding up to the fence, accelerating, driving along it, coming off it to gain an advantage, you will be docked 3 spaces. That may not be exactly what he said, but in my eyes and the way I heard it was, if you use the fence in any way, you're going to be docked 3 spaces.
Okay.
And as you can imagine, the final, the way it was, I'll read out the results as it come up on Speed Hive and the results that come up on the podium. First place was the 598 of Rory McCoulter. Second place was the 21 of Jared Brook. Third place was the 33 of Reed Batty. And congratulations to those guys on your Australian title and podium. I'll read the rest of them out quickly. Fourth place was Zane Kennedy. Fifth place was Kaisha Mills. Sixth place was Daniel Wicks. Seventh place was Cody Lewis. Eighth place was Lachlan Moody. Ninth place was Noah Cardinal. 10th place was Nate Hicks. 11th place was Cooper Anderson, and 12th place was Michael Price. I honestly reckon that Rory didn't use the fence exactly intentional to his advantage. I think there was a couple of times he overran turn 3 and 4, had the bike pitched over, was on the gas, and sort of hit it and bounced off it. So I'm not sure if the rule that Dave spoke was, it was if you were deemed, if they thought you were using the fence to your advantage, that you were going to get docked 3 places, or if you actually did do it, like on purposely hit the fence to an advantage. There was a couple of times that Rory did do it. I did see twice on turn 1 and 2 and once in turn 3 and 4. There may be more times, but it's sort of hard to say if he actually used it intentionally or not, or used it to gain an advantage. The speed that he had compared to Jared's, I'm not sure if it would have made a hell of a difference, because he didn't win by a mile, but he sort of had a couple of bike lengths on Jared.
Well, looking at the best laps there, the times are
Yeah,
very similar.
actually, I'll bring up, well, the lap chart's not going to, I don't think the lap chart is going to tell you much about laps.
So saying he had the lead right from the get-go.
Yeah, he did. Jared didn't pass him at all. But here, what have we got here? Here's his lap times. I don't know if these lap times sort of look consistent, other than the 5th lap was slightly slower.
Fourth lap was the slowest.
Sorry, 4th lap was slightly slower. Yeah, at the end of the day, if the rule was you can't use the fence at all, or if you hit the fence and you can be seen to gaining advantage and you're going to be knocked back a few places. I did speak to one other rider, which put it in great perspective. And he said, if the fence wasn't there, would Rory have run off the track? As in, did he overshoot the corner and go, oh shit, turn it in, keep on the gas to try and keep going around? And that line of that he took happened to use the fence and gave him a bit of advantage. But if the fence wasn't there, would he have gone off the end of the track like, say, Cowra, where there's no fences down the bottom? If he did the same thing there in the same trajectory, would he have gone off the track, or would he have still made it and continued the amount of gap that he had on Jared all the way to all the way around? So obviously when everyone's crossed the finish line and come back around to sort of, I don't know, either do their victory lap or park their bike in the holding area, Dave Smith pulled up first four riders, and then he actually went over and questioned went and spoke to the other officials, went and spoke to the flaggies, and sort of tried to determine what was going to happen. And I think he was trying to figure out if Rory used the fence intentionally. I know everyone watches the North Brisbane Cup and everyone's on that fence like it's a flight of shit. I don't know if they think it's the fastest way around, and it may be the fastest way around, but it was deemed at the start of the meeting, if you were seen using it, well, you're going to be docked 3 places. And I do believe, but this is what I've been told, but I do believe that Rory had been warned about it previously in the meeting to say, hey, but I didn't see how he used the fence or if it was the same situation or whatnot. But he definitely did. He definitely did hit the fence, definitely did bounce off it.
So
Did he gain an
why?
advantage off it? I don't reckon he did. If anything, it was the slightest bit. He was on fire all weekend. He had the speed, he had the pace. Obviously, when he was told that, yep, he won the race, he went and grabbed the flag and did his victory lap. And Jared Brook was pretty quick to hop off his bike, run into the canteen area and submit that protest. So presentation took a little longer than expected, obviously because they were trying to figure out exactly what had happened. I'm sure there's footage of it or something along those lines. Someone would have recorded it. So yeah, I'm not 100% sure what the outcome should have been for that. It was it's hard to say if it was deliberate or if he just sort of overran the corner, turned and bounced
So,
off it and shot
so
down the
okay,
straight.
there's a few things popping up there to me, but before we
Mm.
get to my opinion, for what it's worth, what happened to the results?
Well, the results as stand, as I just read out,
They stayed the same.
it stayed the same, yeah, on the
Okay.
podium. And
Yeah.
I understand, Rory, if you are listening to this, that you are obviously upset that Jared protested. Okay, this is my personal opinion. He did have every right to protest, and I'm sure if the shoe was on the other foot, that you would have protested too. But you still got to have a slightest bit of sportsmanship. Jared did put his hand out on the podium to shake your hand. He did it when you got second and he got first, and he also did it when he got second and you got first. And like, I can understand you're upset, and I'm not knocking you or anything like that for whatever reason, but yeah, just at least shake his hand and say, like, racing's racing. What happened, and yeah, you move on to the next event. But congratulations again, Rory. You rode fantastic. You definitely deserve that Australian title. Yeah, you're on fire, and yeah, unfortunately, it was darkened a little bit by controversy and yeah, grey area in that rule. But Darcy and I were looking at the rules before, and I don't think there's any sort of black and white rule in the book that you can or can't do that. But that's obviously not the same situation as every circuit. So I don't know if that can be a blanket
Yeah.
rule, but it's
Yeah.
definitely
So
down to the club's discretion.
that was going to be one of my conversation points, is that we're going along here to championship rules. So what's this rule of not using the fence? Where is that written? Where does it come in? Is there a part in the rules we can have a look while we're doing it? We did want to drag this pod out a bit because a big shout out to all the boys that work in the mines and like the long pods. So this one's for you guys. As far as I know, apart from Tom needing to go to bed at some point, we don't have any obligations, so we can rattle on all day, really. But yeah, if it's not in the rules for the championship series, why are they throwing that in there? Also, we know, so in flat track, using the wall definitely isn't really an advantage or a thing, but in dirt track, it is a skill factor, a skill set that riders can utilize, and has been ever since I've been in the sport, right from the start of the sport. I was always too scared to ride the wall. I learned how to do it safely,
Likewise.
and you can do it safely. And there's times when track conditions make it worth doing. Majority of the time, I don't use it. Maybe that's my skill set. It's not high enough or something. But you can, you can definitely use it. But if it's a common practice at Brisbane anyway, why did they decide to say that we're not going to allow it at this meeting? That makes me curious.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd like to know.
And if so, if that's deemed as a safety thing, then why the hell is it not in the rules to say that riding wall in the rules? It sounds very similar because of my accent. Riding walls is not permitted. Just make it a blanket rule, so there's no need for this bullshit. I second Tom. I'm going to be a bit more blunt than Tom. Yeah, be a sportsman. Shake his fucking hand. I would have protested it too if they've said, and I don't protest anything, but if they said don't use the wall, don't use the wall. That's that's black and white. But in your defence, Rory, if it's not in the rules and it was made up on the day, I don't. It's a championship. It's not a club day. Club day, they can state things like that. There's a break in the wall. There's a break in the wall, or a slight wobble in the joint. We don't want anyone using the wall. Something like that.
Well,
That's a different
Dave
thing.
did say the wall is it's a safety feature. It's not a part of the track.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that's completely understandable there. But like I
yeah,
said, it didn't look like he intentionally rode up to it and hammered around it. So that's where it's very up and down there.
yeah, yeah. And like you said, the other rider, his points were 100% too. Yeah, if there was no wall, he would have been off the track. So he
Yeah.
would have lost his position. So yeah, look, it's a really tough one. I wasn't there. I'm just going off what I've heard and what we see in the rule books. But I think again, guys, if you think that it was wrong, then put it in writing, send it to the commission, and get it put in the rules that there's no riding walls. If you don't
Mm.
want it happening in dirt track. Otherwise, if he did overshoot at that circuit and had to use the wall to stay on the track, then it sounds like if you're going off the ink only rules and not what was said on the day, it sounds like he deserves the title.
Yeah, oh, definitely. Like I said, I don't. Well, it's hard to say. Jared's a phenomenal rider,
Yeah.
and especially around that circuit, like you watch him pedal around there, and it's a
Oh,
poetry in
some
motion. It's
fantastic
yeah.
pictures come out of the event. I've seen, yeah,
Oh yeah, but
awesome.
to say that if Cody, sorry, if Rory didn't do that, Jared would have caught him past him. But yeah, Jared definitely was within his right to protest. Jared didn't go anywhere near it. Rode a fantastic race. Rode his heart out too. So yeah, hats off to you for that as well, mate. But yeah, that was that put a big dampener on the end of the day. I dare say there wasn't many. Like I was standing on the hill watching that one because that was. No, it was a fair while after our race, but I wanted to watch the final. So I was standing on the hill after our race, and yeah, the crowd was they no one was making any noise. No
Yeah,
one was
right.
cheering. No one was yahooing. Like I think there
Oh,
might have
that's
been
a
a
shame.
handful of
Yeah,
people that were sort of cheering or whatnot, but it
put
definitely
it.
dampened the end, the spectacular of what that final was, and how it should have been sort of celebrated. So I dare say that's the only sad thing I
That's
would
a
have taken
shame.
out of the
And
weekend was it just killed that vibe. But yeah, it was definitely a first for me in the 15 years I've been dirt tracking. But
yeah,
yeah,
and
I
I
was
will,
happy to
I
be
want to
there and be a
mention
part of
too
it.
that Dave Smith's been around the sport a long time. I'm sure they
Yeah,
made those choices for the right reasons. So
yeah.
I don't want people to think that we're discrediting what the decisions they made. I just think it needs to be a little bit more black and white to stop this sort of stuff happening. That's all. And look,
Yeah.
it doesn't. It's from my knowledge, it doesn't happen that often. It's just a bit of a weird one because the wall is used so often in dirt track. So
Yeah.
and at that venue, I mean, yeah, all the pictures that come out of there have guys bouncing off the wall. So it's a pretty common factor. So yeah,
Yeah.
bit of a strange one, but it's another year down. Fantastic to see the Australian track titles run and won. I'd love to have been up there. I'd love to get up to Proserpine, but yeah, you would have heard through the last bloody half a dozen pods, you're saving my pennies for
Mm.
AFTN. So
And just quickly, Darcy, just
mm,
quickly, it wasn't Dave Smith's decision at the end of the day. It was the
oh,
committee that made the
yeah, okay,
decision. So don't run up and start screaming at him. It wasn't his
yeah.
decision. He was the one that sort of had to deliver the
Well,
good or bad news.
don't
But
be
it
doing
was a
that to
joint majority decision to
yeah.
award the finish to or the way placings were.
And yeah, don't be doing that to any committee members anyway. So
Yeah,
there's a
definitely. But
right
yeah,
way of going about things. Write it in an email if you're that frustrated.
mm,
Yeah, go home, beat up your
yeah,
boxing bag first, and then write an email or something.
yeah.
But
Address it properly. Yeah,
yeah. But yeah, it was a shame to hear that. But also look at what it's done. It's created us some great content. There's always
yeah. Well, that's exactly right. Oh,
having
it's yeah.
a bit of rivalry in the sport and a bit of controversy is not a bad thing.
Nah.
It's makes it a bit exciting. It was good to see. It's quite mixed up that field. Like you'd expect Caution to be up there. I know he had a post. He was feeling a bit down on himself, but I mean the top 5 finishes still awesome, mate. And like top 10. We know what the field's like in Australia. It's
Yeah.
full on, I would be happy. I was happy with our riders. They're a little bit further back in the field, but for instance, Zane's hardly been riding. For him to go up there and and B, where he positioned was fantastic. And same with Dan Leonetti. I think he was 14th or 15th and fastest in the
Yeah.
country. So, you know,
Yeah.
massive.
I think he once. I think both finals was one spot. He got third in the repechage. I think in both of them, if I can remember. Maybe one was fourth, one was fifth. So yeah, he was right on the cusp of that final. And yeah, with caution, I think he might have got a flat or a DNF in one race. So
Okay.
yeah, he had to go through
That
the
wouldn't help.
repechage to get in that final. So his gate pick wouldn't exactly have been favourable either. So
Yeah.
yeah, he would have had to ride his ass off to get to fifth position, which is fantastic.
So Zane Kennedy is a speedway rider, is that right? He races speedway as well, doesn't he?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, I
So,
believe
yeah, that's
so.
cool.
He's not.
And
Is that the same rider as the one that broke the lap record at Bathurst?
I believe so. Without going through speed hide, I can't.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah.
Yeah, oh mate, his style was like, yeah, it was unreal. Like it was a speedway style. Like he was coming into it sideways and just like more than 3/4 of the corner, he was just on it, like completely. Like it just looked awesome. Like it's
Yeah, nice.
for someone to stand up like that to me was yeah, it was very very impressive. And his results proved like, look, he's beaten sort of two Australian champions.
Yeah.
3 Australian champions in that
Yeah.
list alone. So
Yeah. Well,
yeah,
5,
it's
6, and 7 have all got
yeah, that's
Australian
exactly right.
titles.
Yeah, so that's a massive effort for. Don't know how much dirt track he does. I know he's predominantly speedway sort of long track, but yeah, they did offer a long track class too. They offered I don't know if it was long track sliders and then a long track open sliders and 250s. I think there was 3 classes that were offered, and they got 4 entries for all 3 of those classes. So yeah, sadly enough that yeah, they obviously couldn't. They had to ditch that class because there's only a few bikes entered in that. But come on,
So you
guys, in the
know what?
sliders, you've got
Yeah.
to support at least the Australian track titles. I know.
You know what we're going to say. Everyone listening that's into sliders, it's pretty obvious what we're going to say there. I get it that's not a traditional long track, like it's
Yeah, and
not
it's not ideal.
800 meters. But if you want these classes to keep being offered, and you know they're offered because you're calling for them, and then this is what from my time in the sport I've seen happen year after year. Long track riders, yeah, we're coming, want to, and then they don't rock up. You guys don't rock up. That's what's killing your class, not
Yeah.
people not wanting to support it. So yeah, you really need to fill those grids, otherwise it will become a class of the past. Because
Is there any way that we can try and get an MA official to come on the pod? So
we can ask like everyone else. We can send emails and see
yeah,
if we get
because
any.
I'd like to find out. I'd like to find out a solid or an honest reason why sliders and MX bikes don't race each other, and I'd also like to know why it has been changed from long track to track. And I've asked this question a shitload of times, and nearly every answer I've got has been different.
Right.
And I'm kind of like, so, and there's not like there's 5 people that said one thing and one person that said the other. It's literally asking 10 people and having 10 different answers. So I'd really like to know why it was changed from long track to track. I'm not going to name 50 reasons why I've been told why it has or hasn't, but I think that's a question a lot of people would love to know the answer to. Considering when I first started racing dirt track or long track, it was called Australian Long Track Championships. And I think as long as the venue was suitable for long track bikes and long track speedway or long track sidecars, then yeah, they could run the championship there. But if the track wasn't permitted for it, unfortunately, you couldn't hold that sort of championship at your circuit because it didn't facilitate all classes that deemed eligible for that championship. So yeah, I'd love to know, and if anyone does know, mate, send me a message on Facebook or anything along those lines. I'd I'd love to do a pod.
What's a long track sidecar?
It's pretty much the same as a speedway sidecar.
Right.
Yeah,
So
I
not a
don't
dirt
know a
track
hell of a lot
sidecar?
about them, but pretty much it's the same. But yeah, I could be wrong. And if anyone knows, mate, send me a message and let me know the differences and yeah, what you think or and why you don't come to the events or or whatever else, or only support sort of certain events. Let us know. Like, we can
Yeah.
get the answers out there and answer the people's questions.
Because ultimately, all this stuff that we're talking about, and if we can get answers and we can compile some information to send to the subcommittee, we can just, we can try to improve the sport and make things flow a bit better and make a bit more sense. I've always struggled with, why there's the two championships, but and we've talked about it a lot, about being series and that sort of instead of a one-off. If it was a series, for example, you could have 4 rounds, 2 ovals, 2 dirt trick right-handers, 2 kidney beans.
Yep.
And then it could be the Australian dirt track titles. That sort of ties into what you're asking too. So why is it not long track now? And long track to me was always 2-geared speedway bikes in New Zealand. If we went to a long track event, that's what it was. There was no MX bikes when I was a kid and when I watched that. So maybe that's why it changed, because of the MX bikes. I don't know.
Well, even when I first started, there was MX. It was always MX bikes in an Australian long track title. It was just you had your 500cc slider class, and then you'd have the Pro 450s, Pro 250s, and everything that we have now. But it sort of seemed like the sliders, and I don't know if it's attendance, I don't know if it's a certain tracks that people don't like riding at or whatever else. But back in the day, they used to have sliders at Gunnedah, and that thing's rock solid hard oil. So I know it's not ideal surface to race long track sliders, and I can understand why people wouldn't want to ride on a surface like that, but they used to do that. And I'm not sure if it was any looser back then when they did that, or if it was hard as it was now. But I really don't want to see the class die, and I want to see it constantly offered. And I know it's money and travel and time and everything else in between to get to these events, and it's not as easy just to buy an MX bike and throw 18-inch rear wheel in it and go dirt track. And there's a hell of a lot more to it, and I do completely understand that. But
I know with the championship series, sorry, Tom, to cut in there. Right. I know with the championship series too, for long track sliders, I'm pretty sure it still stands. No one's activated it. That's all. That the 2 top qualifiers can actually go to represent Australia in the world. So, that's a huge avenue for professionalism in the sport. I would love to see someone get a grasp on it and actually, promote it and for the riders to tune up. But if the riders aren't, I don't know. I've got a feeling that it was the size of the track that they didn't want to ride on.
Yeah.
Can you afford to be that fussy? No, you can't. If you don't want your sport to die, you have to tune up. I know it sounds brutal, but you have to turn up. Everyone rides tracks they don't like on MX bikes. Believe me, everyone rides tracks they don't enjoy. But it also helps your skill levels. Yeah, you may not be able to go to your full potential, but you definitely will come away from that event knowing some more shit. So I think
sure.
You can't be precious. You've just got to turn up. And, if you really do love that discipline, guys, you really have to step it up. I know a lot of guys down here bought sliders and then got rid of them because that was so up and down and, 8 at one event, 2 the next time, it's a commitment thing.
We've got the same sort of situation with sidecars as well. Like, the last club day in Nepean, I think there was 10 or 11 that showed up. And yes, like it's a club day and people are a lot more relaxed and it's not sort of more high pressure. But there was only 9 that showed up in the Aussie titles. And not to say that all the guys are down at Nepean or New South Wales didn't want to show up and whatnot. But it's with the sliders, I think as well, is a lot of the guys that race sliders, they race speedway. So it's kind of something else to do or other than when they're not racing speedway. So I can understand it's another cost, but like Darcy just said, if you want them to keep offering this class that we all love to come watch and see, you've got to back it, because unfortunately people one day are going to say, well, why don't they race sliders anymore? And I'm going to say, well, they offer the class and it was 2 entries, and they're just not going to do it. And it's going to be unfortunate, because all you're going to see is MX bikes quads and sidecars because they're the only ones that are showing up. So,
and look, the MX bike class fluctuates too. So it's just they are a little bit more accessible than the speedway stuff and a little bit easier to understand as far as setup and simplicity, I guess.
Yeah.
I've heard both stories. I've heard people say that speedway bikes are really easy to work on and everything, and then I've heard the opposite. So I've never had one, so I'm not qualified to comment on that sort of stuff. But but just don't take it to heart. We're not hammering you, but we're hammering you if you want to keep your class.
Definitely. So at the end of that concludes the Australian
Awesome.
2024 Australian Senior Track Championships.
So I'm going to throw this one at you. So, because I like throwing Tom in the deep end, we saw him have to basically run the Grant channel. And have you listened to it yet?
No, I haven't.
No.
Actually, I haven't been in the truck for a few weeks, which is been
So
quite pleasant.
I
haven't.
was pretty happy with my editing skills there. There is still a little bit of overlay where I'm going, can you hear me? Can you hear me? But I can wipe that out, or I'll wipe a whole section out of
Yeah,
the
that's all
pod.
good.
But it was challenging, that one, and you'll hear on there if you listen to it or if you have listened to it that I don't actually write down any questions. The first,
Nor
I
do
think
I.
the first, if you go through the catalogue of our pods, I think the first two I might have, or maybe three, I had stuff written down in it, and you can tell I'm reading stuff. And we just got more natural and more comfortable with winging it, I like to call it, or just coming up with questions on the spot. And that's why it's so important when you do come on the pod that you actually like talking, because we're just these pods, they are about racing, but they're also about getting to know the person that is the racer. So we can talk about anything, and I can talk about everything because I know nothing. So it's it is really a ramble, and Tom was thrown in it quite deep because as he mentioned, he sort of just bangs off whatever I'm banging on about.
Yeah, pretty
And
much.
what
Yeah,
comes into your mind,
it's
but
kind of difficult to try and ask one of your mates questions that you already know the answers to without
yeah,
sort of
you
feel
just
like
gotta
you just got to ask it.
you
Yeah,
just gotta ask
yeah,
it. Yeah,
yeah.
I did the same. Like, actually, that was a bit of Alzheimer's because I forgot that Kelsey got a veto. But I did the same in her. I asked her what car she got, and then when she was telling me, I went, "No, actually, I knew that." But bad example. So right. So it's my turn to have a go at ballsing up the screens here. Not that you did a fantastic job.
Thank you.
And actually, why I'm going to do a bit of flattery. Thank you very much, Tom, for being my co-host and partner on the pod, because without your race reports and you're racing yourself at these events and stuff, I want everyone to know how difficult it is to try to absorb the information and what's going on around them other than what he should be focusing on to get the results they need. And I do appreciate it because without you willing to search out these results and that sort of stuff, we wouldn't. There'd be a lot more interview pods, put it this way, and there'd be far few between because I'm not always as organised as I'd like to think I am. But so thanks, mate, for doing all this and putting the effort in. I do appreciate it. So just
No,
want to make it public.
it's definitely not a problem at all. Like I'm just as passionate about the sport as you are, and I want to see it grow. And I want people to engage in it more and get amongst it, do more posts, and contact us if you want any information and things like that. Like we love it as much as you guys. And like Darcy said, we're only volunteering. Like we started at 9:30 on Saturday morning. Sort of like it's pouring down rain in Sydney at the moment now, so it's not exactly something we can go out and do otherwise. But I've just finished a 12-hour shift and definitely was keen to come on and talk about a fantastic race meeting and try and promote as much as you guys and get your voices out there. But no, thank you so much. I love being here. I love doing it. I wish we could, wish our schedules didn't conflict as much as it freaking well does, and we can do a hell of a lot more. But I'm definitely pumped you asked me to come on, and I'm happy to see how far we can take this and get more content out to the people.
Yeah, well, we've got a string of ideas happening at the moment. I feel like we're on a bit of a flow, and I've got a string of people I want to contact you've got a string of people that
Yep.
you've already spoken to that are keen to come on as well. So I think we've got, I dare say, we've got the rest of the year's podcast sorted out almost.
Yeah.
Obviously
Or with
not
the events coming up and the interview pods and all that as well. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, obviously not all locked in, but yeah. So if you are listening, you could be getting a call soon. There's quite a few of you that I want to talk to. There's stories popping up all the time, but just through customer contact and that through Clava or Claver, however you want to pronounce it. I've been talking to customers lately and some great stories. So I'm going to have a few customers on as well and talk about what they do for their kids and running around the country. And it's bloody mind blowing, actually, some of the shit that I've been discovering. The next pod after this one, no, sorry, the next pod before this one, how you doing, Roger That Racing, is an amazing story too. And the way I found out about them was actually through a customer. Yeah, what they're doing is it's just awesome, and it's on the amateur level in America. Yeah, I think you'll love it. So make sure you listen to that one if you haven't by the time you're listening to this one. Anyway, so what we thought we'd do is I'm not as prepared as I actually wanted to be, so I do apologize about that. Yeah, it's a bit of a normal thing in my life. Anyway, we wanted to go through the rules. Not so to go through every rule would probably be a 5-hour podcast and extremely boring.
Yeah.
So we had a bit of a look before we came on, and we're looking at things that haven't been in there before or things that we may have picked up on. So obviously, never before have we had Australian clause 13.12 Australian Flat Track Championships event protocols. So never before have we had this in our rule book over here in Australia. So we thought we'd touch on that. It does go through the classes that can be or can't be championship classes. So this is interesting. We haven't spoken to the promoter of AFTN, so there will be some differences. So don't, as far as classes, so don't take this as this is how the Australian flat tracks is going to run exactly, but they are bound to run to these rules, as we're sort of talking about Australian track championships before. Yes, these are the guidelines and rules they're supposed to be following, but they don't necessarily, if they don't have enough people to run these classes, those classes won't necessarily be running. I think does that sound right? If I've gone around that the right way? Yeah.
No, that
So
sounds right.
classes of competition are a lot less and a lot simplified to our Australian dirt track community. So Pro 450, 450cc 4-stroke, MX frame, Pro Twins, 499cc 4-stroke and above twin cylinder in a street frame, Pro 250, 250cc 2-stroke or 4-stroke MX frame, Women's up to 501cc 2-stroke or 4-stroke MX frame, and Clubman Open up to 501cc 2-stroke or 4-stroke brackets, support class only MX frame. Any comments on that, Tom?
Well, yeah, I'm surprised you can run a 252 stroke and 4-stroke in the Pro 250s.
Yep.
I know they brought in a rule not long ago that you can run 252 strokes with 254 strokes, but when I first started racing dirt track, the 252 strokes went up with the 450s. But
hey,
then they brought it back. And as far as I can only talk about my club, but we only now run 254 Pro 250s only 254 strokes. But I think you can have a 125 2-stroke in that class.
Yes.
And I'm not surprised because you can only imagine the absolute shit fight this would be. But I'm not surprised that the clubman class is not a Australian championship. It's only a support class. As you can imagine, that there'd be guys that are probably more than capable of battling up the front in the pro class would want to go in the clubman to try and snag an Australian championship. But yes, I'm kind of glad that the clubman is a support class to keep those top riders in that top class for the best racing.
And it's a great stepping stone class. The competition's still at a high level. And so, like, if you're not quite confident to go into the Premier class, which is basically the Pro 450, because they get to run all circuits. Yeah, if you're not if you're coming out of juniors and you want to do a debut year, Clubman Open's fantastic for that. It takes a little bit of pressure off you too, I think, and helps you find your feet on that setup if you haven't done a lot on it. So it is, and yeah, exactly like you said, you're having people go in there to just win that should be in the Pro 450. Yeah, it wouldn't be right. Pretty cool that in the women's they could go out on like a CR 500 or something. That's pretty cool.
Yep.
A little bit strange too, in a way, but at least, yeah, I suppose they could have kept it at 252 strokes, but yeah, I don't know why it is like that. As I said, we haven't reached out to the promoter. He would have had an influence, surely. So I'm not sure why it's like that. But look, relatively, that's pretty good. Twin cylinders. I do know that you're not allowed to modify the frames and shit. I'm pretty sure. Let's have a look as we go down.
What if you got a custom? What if you got a custom frame?
It's got to be a street frame. So
right, okay. Oh shit.
Yeah.
And you can't modify them at all?
Well, let's have a look through the rules. I know that on the AFTN website it says that, but I actually haven't looked through the rules. I have, but haven't. Junior competition class is junior lights 13 to under 16 up to 150cc 2-stroke or 254-stroke MX frame, and junior 85s 9 to 13s 85cc 2-stroke to 154-stroke MX frame. So I do love these classes. Look, there's some little bits in there, the 2-stroke, 4-stroke thing. It's not the end of the world. The street frame thing, that I dare say that might change over the years so that the bikes are capable of doing both circuits, the TT as well.
Is that the reason why that the street frames aren't
I'm not
warranted
going to,
enough to
I'm
be able
not
to do
going
the
to
jump?
say that's the only reason, but when I asked about, TTs for these bikes, I was told that the frames were too weak and bent.
Yeah, fair enough. That's
I've
totally
been
fair
told
enough.
by other guys that, no, that's bullshit, you can jump them. But look, safety first. If that's, and slowly, we've talked about this on the pods before, we're baby steps. We don't need to rush into this. Just take our time, have fun. Sort of at the moment, for the twins, it's a fun class. It's almost like it's going to get serious because it's a championship, but it's almost.
Okay. The Pro Twins is a championship. Sorry, that went over my head. Wow. Okay, how good's that?
Well, that's how I take it. Australian Flat Track Champion Event Protocol, senior competition classes.
Yeah, sorry, I was looking at the Clubman more than anything.
A support class is Clubman. So I assume that the rest of these are all championship classes.
I vaguely heard they weren't going to run a women's class this year.
Yeah,
or do you think maybe now?
Through me, actually. I said that because that's what I was told. That's what I was told because there wasn't enough competitors. But if we have, which we haven't moved on to yet, but there is a minimum. Actually, I'll just read through
I probably
all this.
just threw a spanner in the works.
We're getting ahead of ourselves. But anyway, hold on, that's a contradiction. 13.2, 13.12.3 under the junior class competition. So the next clause after that. Machine with custom frames may enter Pro Twins only.
Right.
That's weird. Okay. So yeah, but it's got to still be in the street style, perhaps.
Okay, so it can be modified.
We need clarification on that, maybe.
Let's get Dave on here.
So I'll keep moving on. A rider may enter multiple classes. However, no machine can be ridden in a class other than the applicable class designated in the table above. Yep. Entries to constitute a class. To constitute a class for the purpose of gaining series points, the number of riders entered and competing in each class shall be 10 or more starters, except in the women's class, which must have 6 riders, which actually participate in practice qualifying races. So really, girls, you want to get 8 committed so that if anyone has mechanical or comes off through qualifying and practice, you'll still have a class, is the way I look at that.
Surely if something happens in qualifying, they're not going to deem it not a championship because someone had a blowout.
who knows? We've seen weird shit happen at championships lately, so let's
yeah,
the
it's
more the
true.
better. The more the
Yeah,
better. Get
yeah,
13
definitely.
girls
No,
there,
get 2
girls.
grids of girls out. They get
Yeah,
18 of them. Get as many as you
there's
possibly
enough.
can. Get them
There's
all out there.
enough ladies riding at the moment. I don't see why we can't. It'd be great to see a full women's championship class.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what you guys need, a minimum of 6. But yeah, obviously get as many as you can rally around. And yeah, for the blokes, you need 10 or more. Well, I don't think that's going to be a problem. So maybe a little bit in the twins, but I don't think so. I can't remember how many were at Brisbane. Mine's looking at the stage to be on track. The rider won't be near prepared already, but anyway, you need some. You need
That's all
someone to
right.
be
Even he would never
last.
be prepared.
Yeah, you need someone to be last. So moving on, 13, 12.52. The maximum number of riders on the track for racing at any one time is 18. Classes with greater than 18 entrants will be split into 2 groups, an A and a B group. For an odd number of entries, Group A will have the larger number of competitors. Example, for 23 entries, Group A, 12 competitors, and Group B, 11 competitors, and so on. Group A, fastest qualifiers. Group B, remaining riders. Both groups race the entire program. The top riders from Group B, race 1, have the option to transfer to A if the space is available. So that's nothing changing from last year.
Yep.
And makes sense. If you're in Group B, your points still go towards the championship where you class in.
And if you're the fastest in Group B, don't be scared to go up to Group A because as you can see the
Yeah.
points there, last place in Group A is actually better than first place in Group B. So
Yeah,
if you can
'cause
move up, move up.
you're scoring on position. So
Yeah.
if there's 31 riders and what was it, the top 18 are in the first in Group A,
Yeah.
then you're actually scoring for 19th if you're first in Group B.
Yep.
So
And
you're
if you're last
scoring
in
9.
Group A, you're
Yeah,
scoring 18, so you're getting more points than you are.
that's right. Yeah.
One
So it's to
B
your
class.
advantage, even
Yeah.
if you're not feeling it and think, oh, I'm not going, don't worry about getting up the front. Just worry about at
You're
least
doing better
scoring
than the
more
B
points
group
than
if
you
you're in
were.
the A.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is why I actually really love this format because it's a little bit more about strategy. And I think that's an awesome part of racing is the strategic side. So yeah, you should be trying to get into that A group with all your might because that's where you're scoring more points.
Yeah,
So
that's
the
right.
further down the ladder you are, and if you're, on the opposite hand of that, if you're in the B group, you're still scoring points. So it's not like being in the slow group and you're not getting points for the championship or anything like that. It's just that's where you're ranking. So
No one got any points in the B. No one got any trophies, sorry, in the B group at the end of that, did they?
shit.
I'm just trying to think
I think there
slightly
were.
happen
I think there were some little handouts and stuff, but yeah, no.
okay.
Yeah, there were no. I can't remember. I'd have to look back through video footage and that. I do
Yeah.
remember.
Sorry, I
I
thought
do remember some little handouts. I can't remember what they were. Yeah, we're almost looking at a year ago. Would you believe? All right.
yeah.
So scoring points will be allocated as followed. Yeah, obviously maximum points 55 for first, and then it just goes all the way down. So yeah, so if there's 34 riders across 2 groups and you're last in B, you'll get 1 point.
Hey, that's not
Still a
bad.
point. Still a point.
That's it.
All points continue through both A and B groups where there are both full grids. The winner of Group B will earn 16 points, the equivalent of finishing 19th. So exactly what we've just said. I actually understand what the fuck's going on. It's amazing. And so on. If there is less than
It's bound to
full
happen,
grids,
surely.
it's got to happen once in my 47 years. For example, with 23 entrants, the winner of Group B, race 1, will earn 24 points, the equivalent of finishing 13th, and so on. Practice and race format. Each class will have 5 minutes for practice and 5 minutes of timed practice. Race format. Class Pro 450, Pro 250, Club Open, Women's, Junior Lights 85s, all 6 laps, Pro Twins 6 laps. I don't know why they get a line between their class. Anyway, race 2. So that was race 1, sorry. Race 2 is 10 laps for everyone. Race 3 is 15 laps for everyone apart from the twins. And
Yeah,
race
that's why there's a
4,
line.
and race 4, thank you. Race 4 is 10 laps for all classes apart from pro twins, which only have 3 races.
Why do they do that?
Good question. I'd be up for 4.
Well, let me know after the first 2 races if you're up for another 2.
No, fucking oath, mate. I've got muffins. All classes, grid position will determine via time practice. The fastest rider in time practice will choose on either the left or right side of the first row of the grid, and the second fastest rider in time practice will line up alongside them, and so on. Should timing not be available for time practice, riders' start positions will be chosen by a peg draw for race 1, with the finishing order from each race after that determining the start order for the next race. For example, the winner of race 1 gets first choice to start position in race 2. The winner of race 2 gets first choice to start position in race 3, and so on. The clerk, of course, based on the observation of practice, may relegate Pro 450 riders to Clubman Open if required. Righto.
So if you're not fast enough, you got to go down.
Yeah, I don't see that happening. What would make that happen? Hold on, I'll read on. That might give us an answer. In the event of 2 riders achieving equal time practice times, the rider who sets the time first will qualify in the higher grid position. Okay. In mitigating circumstances, the clerk, of course, may include any competitor who has failed to qualify. Times from practice sessions may be used for this purpose. Such riders will be required to start from the back of the grid. During time practice, riders are allowed to stop and start, but all bikes must remain within the circuit at the clerk of course discretion. A designated area may be available for mechanics to make adjustments and convey lap times. Mechanics must have a current MA competition or crew license. Yeah, I like that you can go and do that.
Yeah.
It's something we don't see a lot in dirt track. So remembering, guys, this is flat track, not dirt track. Okay.
Yeah, this is AFTN or 9Ns.
AFTN championship classes. Okay, so just you don't get confused. Starting grid format. The starting grid format for solo machines will be as followed. 3 rows of 6 riders, 6 meters apart. Penalty line 6 meters behind the third row. Each row to be evenly divided into 6 segments. That's very American style. In the event of an incident causing a red flag during the first 3 laps of a race, the riders deemed to have caused the incident will be relegated to the penalty line for a full race restart. Red flags after 3 laps have being completed by the leader will be restarted, with the rider causing the red flag starting at the rear of the grid. The restart procedure will be listed in the SRs.
Okay, so they don't know if it's going to be the full race restart or just remaining lap. Fair enough. So that means after 3 laps or after 50% of the race is complete, is that declared?
If a red flag is shown after 75% of race distance, the race will be declared, and riders deemed to have caused the red flag will be excluded from the result.
Yep, fair enough.
Okay, so starts. The race will start when an elevated light is extinguished. Should lights not be available, the dropping of a raised flag will be used.
Okay, so does that mean the flag's got to get to the bottom of the movement or when the flag moves down?
If the red flag, start. If light's not available, the dropping of a raised flag will be used. So the flag goes up, when they drop it, race starts.
Okay, yep.
It's the way I understand that. Obviously, all this stuff will be talked about in the riders' briefing. Where applicable, but we're just going through it, so anyway. Have it sort of in your head. Jump starts will be penalised. I'm pretty sure you're going to the back, buddy. Jump starts will incur a red flag. A red light may be used to indicate a red flag. With the offending rider relegated to the penalty line, which is what? Can you remember, Tom?
The 4th line, all the way to the back, wasn't it?
Yeah, 30 metres behind the third line, whatever
30 metres behind?
No, was
Holy
it 30
shit.
or 3? Hold on. 6 meters. Sorry, 6 meters.
I was going to say
30 meters half the track.
You got to start in Parramatta.
Yes. Yeah, sorry, guys.
Fuck. Fair enough.
And put me in charge of an event.
That's still a massive. Imagine that.
6 minutes.
You gotta.
You can start halfway across the track there.
Yeah, put you in the car park next to the white Vito.
But we'll be watching one rider finishing the race. Uh, we, well, it was my first time nightclubbing. I'm a bit shady, and I didn't even drink. Scrutineering, jump starts. Yep, scrutineering. No person may participate in the competition unless and until that person having. All right, this is a new one for especially if you're coming across some dirt track. Maybe not. Some events are starting to do it. I know in dirt track. Having self-scrutineered their protective clothing, equipment, and machine, and submitted a signed declaration confirming same to be fit for purpose and compliance with the GCRs, or where MA has approved the scrutineering of the person protective clothing. Yeah, and equipment, machinery scrutiny, event, protective clothing, event examined by a scrutineer. Now, I know with all the rounds last year, it was self-scrutineering forms.
Yep.
Word of warning, fill them out, make sure everything is 100%. Remember, Tom, you'll remember back on the pod, Brendan copped a fine because he couldn't be fucked getting his chassis engine number or whatever it was, engine number, I think, and just made one up. And yeah, we were penalised for it. It was a cash fine. So
what was the fine for that, if you can tell me?
I can't remember. You'd have to go to that episode. I think it was after Brisbane. So
yeah, we had
Brisbane
self-scrutineering at the Aussie titles as well. The only thing they did check was for sidecars and quads was the dead man switch worked. That was it.
Oh yeah,
the lanyard.
Yeah. So. Well, that's still a good sign, guys. Make sure that you do it properly. It's for a whole lot of reasons: your own safety, other riders' safety, just respect to the sport, basically. Also, insurance purposes. So, make sure you fill everything out properly when you're doing that. And I don't blame the officials. Promoters coming down hard on that. It is what it is. So do it properly. Double check it. If you don't understand, if you're not great with English or whatever, get someone else give you a hand. Double check it. And
if you're not sure about anything, ask one of the officials. I'm sure they're more than happy to explain something to you if you need to know.
The type of scrutineering will be confirmed at final instructions, which is usually an email. For 2-day event, bikes that remain within the event complex overnight do not require re-scrutineering for day 2. Any bike that leaves the venue and returns will need to be re-scrutineered. Scrutineered machines must remain in the pit area at all times between races and can only be removed at the conclusion of the event or with the permission of the clerk. Of course, failure to comply will result in exclusion from the meet. I think that's pretty normal sort of behaviour in an event. First place getters must remain impounded in, what's that word, park firm at the conclusion of the meeting.
Park firme.
At the conclusion of the meeting for a period of 30 minutes to allow eligibility protests to occur during this time. No machine in that class impounded shall be removed from the selected area. Failure to comply with this regulation will result in the matter being referred to the clerk of course for further action. All machines entered must comply with the current GCRs for track competition. Multiple entries. So this section, I think it's 198 to about 202 or something and it can be found on the Motorcycling Australia website. Click on rules. You can actually download it now, or you can do what I've just done here, and you can open it on your screen and just go through the pages. Yeah, so multiple entries on the one machine in the same class if competition is not permitted. Well, how would that be possible? I don't understand. That's hurting my brain trying to think about that. Change of machine is allowed. Okay, so this is a good one because I've actually seen this come up in another event. And they weren't allowed. So change of machine is allowed should a mechanical issue relegate the machine unsafe or inappropriate for the remainder of the event. So, guys, you can have 2 bikes, is what it's saying. I'm just guessing you have to scrutineer both of them. Would that be right?
Yep. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so this one I also seen it come up on Facebook at one stage. Tyres. So all classes must use 19-inch flat track tyres on the rim width not exceeding 3.5 front and rear, except for the Junior 85s, which are obviously a 17-inch flat track wheel and tyre. So any modifications to the rim spokes of an integral wheel as supplied by the manufacturer or of a traditional detachable rim other than for spokes, valves. Oh, I didn't need to read this, but valves or rim lock, you're not going to modify it. It's basically what it's saying. It's prohibited.
So you can't run solid rims, can't run mags.
It doesn't say that any modifications. You just can't modify it to,
Okay,
the way it's designed.
yeah, it's true. Yeah,
So,
fair enough.
Yeah, so I'm imagining like putting a solid disc on it or something would be classed as modifying. I can't think of many. I can't think of many other modifications you would do.
No.
Yeah, unless you're cutting bloody shit out, which to make it lighter or something. Which on these tires, making it heavy is usually the way you want to go. The only exception made is for tire retention screws used to prevent tire movement relative to the rim. Okay. So you can put a rim lock in, is what it means in my mind. So this one's the one that caused a bit of hoo-ha, but remembering these are championship rules. This is the way I look at it. These are championship rules, not club level rules, but most clubs might choose to run to this. But you'll find most clubs that are running 19s are running dirt track rules, not championship flat track rules. It's getting complicated.
Yes.
Your head looks like it's hurting as much as mine. All right,
Yeah,
so
I'm with you.
the original molded in brackets flat track tire tread pattern cannot be cut or modified. Hand cut, or MX trial enduro and track type racing tires are not permitted in AFTN. So if it's a state title, these rules will apply. You can't modify your title. Like say it's New South Wales or Victoria flat track titles. If that sort of stuff starts happening, I'm pretty sure we'd be running to these rules. So yeah, you can't groove your tires in that. So carrying on from there, we go to sound emissions. Now this is pretty much all the same as dirt track. Fuel, environmental, it's all the same. Engines, all the same. Tolerances for engines, same. Frame and parts, I didn't have a good look. There might be a twins bit in there. The use of titanium, this is the same dirt track, and the construction of frame. Front forks, handlebars, swinging arm, spindles, wheel spindles is forbidden unless OEM. The use of light alloys for wheel spindles is also forbidden unless OEM. The use of titanium alloy nuts and bolts is allowed. Oh, okay. I think that's new. I thought they weren't allowed. Streamlining. All streamlining fitted to motorcycles or sidecars must be free of any sharp edges or exposed extremities. So are we still in flat track? No, because we're in
dirt track, flat track, but is there a certain section for flat track?
Yeah, here. So we've actually changed sections. This is what I used in my example with the club meeting. I think you can groove a tyre because we are now in actually section 13D, technical regulations. And this is back to dirt track, track and flat track, but more club level. Yeah. So that's why it's the same, because it's the bloody same rules, you idiot. Yeah. So I didn't realise I'd skipped sections. So what we just read all up to the titanium shit was, so it finishes on page 200, the flat track championship rules. Okay. So if you do go in there, it's from page 198. That start just under the top of the page, clause 13.12, Australian Flat Track Championship Protocols, and it goes to page, what did we just say, Tom? I've already forgotten. 200.
Yeah.
And now, sorry, I'm a bit slow. 202.
Yeah.
I won't be slow in the edit because I'll cut all the pauses out.
No, to 200, because then it was section 10 technical regulations. So to 200.
Yeah, thank you. So section 13D, actually, you need your glasses on. Yeah. So 201, we go back to technical regulations. So I'm pretty sure all the sound emissions, fuels and everything will correspond in the flat track anyway.
Yeah, I don't think any of that was changed.
Yeah, pretty much a national wide sort of thing. Everyone knows handlebar ends, make sure your foot press works properly. no stands, all that sort of shit. So this is an interesting bit, sort of, you know, tires and rims, speedway or universal tire block pattern tires are to be used. So this is where we're going a little bit with a comment in another pod about a protest about arrows. So it doesn't say anything about arrows, it says about universal. So I guess
Directional, he meant, directional tires.
so I guess if your tire isn't showing an arrow going both ways, it shouldn't be spun. So if it's at a championship and someone, why you would protest it, I don't know. But if someone did, they probably could have you. I don't know. But speedway or universal tire block pattern tires are to be used. So no size delegated there, but should have universal.
The way I saw it, like you said, if it had a directional arrow, you weren't allowed to spin the tire. You weren't allowed to rotate it.
So on this tire bullshit it's getting tiring.
Here comes the dad jokes.
Here comes the dad jokes. She's
Wheelie.
get it, wheelie. Fuck's sake. So universal tire block pattern. So does that mean the tire needs to state universal?
Well,
Because
the thing
how
is,
do you know it's universal?
if they're saying you can't run the tire the opposite direction because the manufacturer deems it safe only running that one way, does that mean the Michelin or the V-rubber tire shouldn't be used in dirt track because it wasn't designed for that? Are they speed rated for what they're doing? Are we?
Well, so this opens up the big fucking can of worms that we sort of set off with. Yeah, we probably weren't going to do, but hey,
Well, we don't have to open it up. We can just crack the lid
we-
and pull one worm out and talk about that.
We love a party. Yeah, it opens up a lot, doesn't it? And who's policing it? Why is that? I mean, is it insurance? What the fuck? I don't know. Anyway, so it says for machines 85cc and over, rear knobby tyres are not permitted. Well, everyone knows that. Tyres must be mounted and inflated to 14 psi at scrutineering. Never ever seen that checked once. Front tyre types are optional. So
does that mean if it's at scrutineering it's 14 pound and someone says I believe he's running 12 and they run over and stick a tire gauge on it and you're running 12, does that mean you can lose an Australian championship over that?
this is again, flip back a page, technical regulations. Now it's not in the championship rules, is it? Because if we go back,
No, it wasn't at all.
So before the Australian Flat Track Champion Protocol is the Australian Senior and Junior Track Championship protocols. All right, so this is actually what we wanted to look at before, isn't it? If we're going to go back to earlier in our,
but we only talk. Okay, so we're obviously talking
dirt track now. All
the
right,
18-inch tire, not the 19 flat track tire.
No, so we're talking about Australian dirt track now championships. Right, medallions, trophies. Oh shit, this is a lot bigger than I remember.
Now you got too far.
Yeah, excuse me.
There you go. Yeah.
No, 89. So 89 is Australian championships. All right. So these from page 89 to 201 is all the championship rules.
Yeah.
Sorry, 198. So page 189 to page 198 is all about the championship rules. So if you do have a problem with last weekend, I'm not going to. Well, we did say we are going to draw this out, but
hopefully not too long. I've got a baby shower at midday.
When are you going to sleep, mate?
When I'm dead.
You don't know. All right.
Nah,
So
got footy this afternoon at 3:00 as well.
Fuck's sake. Mate, you're killing me.
Making you look bad.
Yes, the general rules, cameras. Oh, it goes, number plate. It's a bit more in depth than the old flat track class. Race event protocols, sign-ins, measurements, entries, practice qualifying, start, finishes, juniors, stopping, scoring, stewards and clerk. So what I'm looking for is a couple of things I'm actually looking about the off the wall shit, if there's anything in there.
Right.
See, so in dirt track, no machine or engine may be exchanged for another unless permitted under these GCRs or any SRs.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what the SRs are. State regulatories, is it?
State regulations?
Okay, so I'm only really, really skimming. I'm a really slow reader if you haven't figured that out.
Lucky for editing.
Yeah, lucky for editing. But I can't see anything about not using the wall.
Oh no, I don't think. I think that'd be more specific to that venue itself. Like as I was saying before, in the North Brizzy Cup, you see everyone stuck to it. Like you see Jack Miller riding that thing, and you mean getting the better of most riders and whatnot. And I think that's a sort of more of a spectacular than it is anything else. But I do see the reasoning behind why they didn't want anyone using the
Yeah,
wall.
I'm just because it's good if things can be transparent and a lot more black and white.
But I don't see it being in the rules here due to the fact that not every circuit is like that. Like at the back at Nepean, there's no wall on the edge of the track. You sort of just run off into where the old long track used to be.
I'm looking at the bloody flat track rules again. I'm going. They're saying that you've got to use 19s. Yeah, all right. So where were we going with that? I can't remember.
Well, we started
19
off
is
with it.
oh yeah, about the universal thing. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it didn't say anything about not being able to flip tires either in the competition.
So does that mean
that's
this
right,
comes
'cause
down
you
to
were
the club's or promoters' discretion then, or does
must
it?
do, must
Okay,
do.
so if it's not in the rule book, it deemed if the promoter or club want to enforce it, or if they've got their own set of rules that they can enforce. But have they got to follow these rules as a guideline and can't be changed or altered?
I believe that's
Like, have they got to follow these rules, but they can also have their own rules to suit that certain venue /
yeah,
club?
well, like you say, having an MA, a very a long time MA official on here would be a great thing. They might be able to help clear this up.
Exactly right. Yeah, hopefully there's someone that we can reach out to and
yeah, if someone and we're not going to grill. It's not a roasting or anything like that. It's about
no,
just
it's just
clarification.
asking questions that sort of
Clarification. So
yeah, that's
if you
exactly
are in
right.
that position, we'd love to talk to you.
Yeah, we're definitely not going to put you up.
Because I'm probably putting the wrong fucking ideas in people's heads. So
you're going to drill them.
well, I'm only reading what's here.
Yeah.
And the way I interpret it. So yeah, my interpretation could be wrong. So you don't take it as concrete.
No.
So clause 13.7, we'll move along from the universal bit. 13.17.93, 19-inch track tires, which is flat track. Could we just call it fucking dirt track and flat track? No track.
Yeah, well, yeah.
19-inch track tires are permitted to be used at all events, okay? So you can use them at club events on rim widths not exceeding 3.5 front and rear. So that's not an issue. So the Facebook one was that they were saying you can't groove them, but some people went to, I believe it was Bathurst with groove tires, and they allowed them to run them. And people were saying, how can that be?
I thought they didn't. Okay, I thought they didn't allow them to run them.
Okay, maybe I'm wrong because I wasn't there. I'm sure they did, but that's the impression I got from Kick and Hand News. But maybe they didn't let them use them. But if you go back,
I was actually speaking to one father of a rider, and they said they had to get tyres brought in from Sydney.
Yeah, righto. Okay,
because
so that sounds
the tyres they were using were grooved, so they had to do it that way.
Yeah. So I assumed that because that is in the championship rules. And then when you go back to regulations, have I gone too far? We get to tires next page. Yeah, I'm bad at this, aren't I? On page 3 in the regulations, under tires and rims, it doesn't say it says that you can use them at all events, and it doesn't say they can't be modified.
Okay.
So I thought it was only in championships that you can't modify it in the championship series. But
that's grooving of the 19-inch flat track tires is what you're talking about.
Correct.
Yeah. Well, then again, does that come down to club's discretion, or does it come down to the manufacturers not? Are you ruining the structural integrity of the tire when you're grooving it? I don't see how.
You're not. But I have tried grooving quite a bit. I've been experimenting a lot. And I dare debate that it doesn't make that big a difference.
Fair enough. Yeah, I might up to that level of grooving tires to make a difference of my riding ability. I'm lucky to stay on two wheels, let alone try and make my two wheels go faster than they are.
So oil dirt tracks, tires must comply with the following. Tread on the tires must be at least 1 mil deep. on any part of the tyre. Maximum width allowed on of the rear tyre is 165 millimeters, with when measured at the point on the tyre located at 90 degrees to where the tyre contacts the ground.
Yep.
At a pressure inflated to 14 psi. Tyre pressure may be adjusted after measurements. No artificial warming of the tyres, including but not limited to tyre warmers and warming blankets. So yeah, that's a good one to know.
Yeah, okay.
That's also interesting too, because I've never seen anyone do it, but I wonder, so that means that like a club event, you can't use tyre warmers to get your rubber up to temperature like on your 19s to bring the compound to its full working
No.
temperature.
So
But,
you can't use tyre warmers on 19s either, is that correct?
well, that's only on oil track. It's saying that you can't use them.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, see,
okay.
there's a few little holes you can. I'm probably reading between the lines too hard.
But
So
it's
you could
surely if we're asking this question,
loopholes.
everyone else, well, there's other people that are asking the same sort of questions.
Well,
If you can do that, but then can we do that? Like,
yeah, actually, somebody did say to me, "Have you tried tyre warmers to bring you so the Kelpie block, our block pattern tyre? Have you tried tyre warmers?" And I said, "Well, actually, I don't think you're allowed to, but it's only saying that for oil, isn't it?"
right? Yeah. Well, yeah.
So, yeah, could we put it on a Kelpie block and soften compound before going out?
You could give it a go.
Wow, it's not saying I can't.
That's right.
Yeah, so yeah, I know it gets technical, doesn't it? But
Unless you're running that tire on an oil track.
yeah, that's right. And that's probably where you would want to soften it. But
Yeah.
everyone that I've talked to said that block patterns are terrible on an oil track. Our block pattern, well, I've got to go and give it a crack, to be honest. And yeah, I probably would be terrified. So maybe I'm not the best test pilot, but
Me neither.
they are a harder compound than like the Michelin. I don't think they would fall apart, to be honest. But I think what you'd find is that they would spin a fair bit.
Yeah.
But maybe they take the heat and they work out to be an awesome oil track tire. I don't know. Yeah, you got to try.
I think it would determine if it was loose oil, hard oil. Like I heard, Griffith was a fairly loose oil surface, so
yeah,
that
and
could work
I
out
know
perfect.
a couple of guys have got on the podium on Kelpie blocks at Griffith, which was awesome.
Yeah, nice.
I was on a 19-inch tire there, that last one, and yeah, I wasn't having a lot of luck on that. But I think that was actually more the lifespan of the tire. You know, tires are tricky, especially the rubber compound. The Michelin, since we talk about that so much, you know, you can run that without knobs, and that thing still bloody grips. You know, people say they fall apart, but yeah, they do, but they actually still perform. It's where there's tires like, and I will say at the Kelpie block, it's a fantastic tire. It's a budget friendly tire, but it is hard to read because it doesn't wear like a Mitchie. And yeah, just different properties. It's not as high quality rubber. I mean, we haven't spent millions of dollars investing into the rubber compound and that sort of stuff. But for what it is, it's an awesome way to get into the sport. It also makes a fantastic front tire. And Michelin, I haven't actually tried it, so it's not probably fair to comment, but I have heard people that have laced an 18 to the front and tried it and said it was too soft. So that's where our tire makes a great front tire, especially in the wetter conditions, wider footprint, and yeah, clears fine and everything. Compared to like if you were running a 19 American tire on the front. So it makes a great front tire because it's not so soft. So yeah, pros and cons to everything. Obviously, experimenting and being open-minded about what's going on. I love that, you know, people whack them on and go, oh, it's not like the 18. Well, no, it's a 19 for a start. So the whole geometry thing and you know, you have to change your bike like just exactly like you learned how to set up your bike to the Mitchie. So people have been doing that for years, and I think they forget pretty quick that they actually have gone through that process. And yeah, when you're trying other stuff, you're going to have to change things. But anyway, I think that's pretty much it for the rules. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I think we've covered sort of most of the stuff that that's new or different to what it normally would be. There's probably a dozen or so questions that we need to have answered or rules need to be clarified, just to know what you can and can't do so you don't get stung at a race meeting. But yeah, pretty much wraps it up.
Yeah, I think for me, the big one, the big one that needs to be written differently or made a little bit clearer is this universal thing. I
Yeah.
don't understand that. It's does it mean that the tire has to have an arrow pointing both ways, or that it has to state that it's universal? What does that mean? Like,
Yeah. And what is a universal
yeah,
tire, or universal trials tire, or
so
block pattern tire? Yeah.
does that actually exclude all the other tires that aren't universal? Yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I know at the Vic Title, someone was using what are they called? Those hybrids.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
They've got the big block. They're a block pattern. So does that mean they can be used or they can't be used? Or I'm not sure if
Yeah.
they have universal on them. I think that needs to be, because it years ago in the rules it actually had no lower than I think 12 mil or 13 mil. It's the block height,
Okay.
and it actually had the diameter of the blocks in that, and they've taken that away. So yeah, I
Is that
think
to broaden your choice of tire?
possibly, but this universal has got me stumped. So um, our tire, it doesn't affect our tire in the marketplace because our tire actually has universal on it and it's rated to 150 Ks. So I think that's
Nice.
more than enough for
Which means you can rotate the tire and there won't be
yeah.
any issues with that?
Yeah, and you can use it front and back as we've designed it. So yeah, so
Perfect.
the way the sipe is cut allows for that as well. So the
Yeah.
sipe is the basically the shape of the grooves, I guess is the best way to
Yeah.
explain that. So yeah, I actually did have an engineer work on that for a bit. So I would like to see that clarified a little bit better. I don't know how often it's brought up, to be honest. But yeah, if we are going to start seeing people protesting that sort of stuff, which it sounded like someone did,
Mm.
I think it needs to be sorted. But everything else is pretty
Yeah.
much clear, I think. Yeah, and I know when we did coaching and that sort of stuff, it's at your discretion. So I imagine it's the clerk of course, and that it's at their discretion as far going back to the wall thing. Um, I dare say they can bring that in if they want to.
Yeah.
But yeah, it would be nice to just a blanket rule just to make it clear and easier for everyone. So, guys,
Alrighty.
if you want to check those out, I'm scrolling down 2024 manual of motorsport. You can find it. Oh, my letters are big, aren't they? Right there, Motorcycling Australia on their home website. Go to
ma.org.au and then the / licenses rules
yeah.
in general. But yeah,
Oh, you're reading that. That was
ma.org.au.
clever.
Click on the menu and it'll give you all the information that you need to know and probably some that you don't.
Yeah. So any officials out there that may be listening, would love to get you on. Highest official, no disrespect to new officials, but the higher you are, the better, please. That'd be great. Is it level 3? I think it's the highest. So that would be awesome to have you on. Few things coming up, Tom. Anything for you? Like we're gonna try this pod thing, which we'll announce soon. We'll try do a couple little testers and then we'll announce when we're going to do it. We'll give you plenty of time so you can think of any questions or anyone that you'd like to hear from or whatever.
Events wise, I think the next one for us is the round 2 of Penrith Motorcycle Club's Club Championship at Nepean Raceway on the 19th. And then after that, the next run would be the Australian Dirt Track titles in Proserpine. I'm pretty sure. I don't think there's anything between now and then. Actually, maybe the Track Masters at Barley Ranch. I haven't looked at the calendar. Yeah, overly looked over that real well, but I'm pretty sure the juniors are on the Saturday and the seniors are on the Sunday for the Track Masters. So, that's always a good event. And, hopefully we can get to that one, but I've obviously got to see. Oh, actually, no, I'm sorry, I've shit the bed. New South Wales Dirt Track titles at Gunnedah is on the 1st and 2nd of June.
Yep.
That is the next one up, sorry. Yes, we won't be attending that one. That's why I sort of skipped over it. But yeah, Gunnedah always hold a fantastic event and try and cater for everyone and give everyone enough rides and yeah, if anyone doesn't know, that is a hard oil track, but it's infamous and everyone knows it. And yeah, 90% of the people love it.
There's also round 5 and round 6. Well, it actually will be, pardon me, it will be sort of round 6. No, it's totally different. Sort of round 6's circuit for the AFTN. They use a bit of the dirt track for the TT. But yeah, same complex oil. So it's also a good place to get practice if you're wanting to do that, take your 19s. And even though it's a title event. Yeah, I don't think I'm heading up there either, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'll be there, but obviously not competing. So yeah, I'll definitely be up there. So come say good day. I'll be on the hill somewhere. Cool. I dare say with the can in my hand, enjoying the racing.
Yeah, we going to try and get some riding in down here. Need to get some training camps happening. So yeah, there's that one. Aubrey Wodonga tomorrow. They've got a round. Can't remember if it was club champs or not. I think so. That's Mother's Day. Or should I haven't done anything for Mother's Day actually. It's a good reminder. So we'll be well past that by this pod comes out. We've got one more to release before this one. So we're aiming for one a week, guys. Sorry about the delay. We will catch up eventually. Hopefully not. We're trying to record them in advance. But have you got someone walked in?
Yeah, my mates are sitting there tapping at their watch. They're meant to be at the baby shower in 15 minutes.
15 minutes? How far away is it?
About 10 minutes, but I've got to go have a shower and get everything else sorted out too.
Oh, so it's a Tom shower and a baby shower.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. It's at a pub, so I can only imagine how much baby sharing's going on.
Yeah, this baby's already born to be a bogan, is it? Or...
Well, we might move to Orange, and all his mates are here in the Hawkesbury, so it's easy for him to come here and then us to go all the way there. So yeah, right, it should be good.
Yeah. Oh, well, then we better wrap this one up. I was thinking of other things to say, and now they've all gone out of my mind because I'm just thinking in this bogan baby shower, which that's a concept I hadn't even thought of. That's baby shower at a pub. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's what I reckon.
Heavy metal bands, punk bands, what?
Oh, mate, I don't know. I haven't been to this pub in probably about 10 years. I used to live 2 doors down from it. Used to frequent a lot, but I haven't been there for years. So, yeah, it'd be interesting to see what it's like.
Yeah, rightio. The other one I was going to mention was, I think, 24th, Cowra have got the Memorial Day on as well.
Oh,
so, yeah, that one as well, guys. Yeah, check all those clubs pages. We've got to let Tom go. You're going to get smashed so quickly. One can, you're going to be anyone's.
No, actually, won't.
Or did you sleep really?
I'm not drinking till Gunnedah. Then after that, I'm not drinking till the Aussie title. So I'm trying to.
Aren't you? Oh, you've been good.
I'm trying to pull my finger out and be a little bit more sensible. I want to. I definitely want that number 1 plate. So I
thought actually drinking could be a training advantage to put a bit of weight down on that third wheel.
Well, mate, it's not that. It's more the back wheel we had issues with in one of the races. So that's what that is. But trying to somewhat get a little bit healthier.
Who's the mate knocking at the door? Are they into racing? Are they into racing?
No, he used to, but now he's just a serial pest. So.
Oh right. So we can't convince him to come on and get him back onto bikes or anything.
No, he's probably half past pissed at the moment now, and I'm definitely not turning the camera that way. That's for sure. That's one thing you'll have to edit out, and it won't be allowed back on the internet.
Oh no, we're good. Look, we're pretty cool here. I reckon we like to show the real Australia.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll see all of Australia there.
Yeah. All right, mate. Well, keep it sideways. Have a great weekend, rest of your weekend. And
thank you.
Yeah, I'll be in touch shortly anyway. Well, the next pod, I actually not 100% sure what the next pod's going to be. It will be probably an interview one, I'm imagining.
Yeah, we'll ring someone up.
We just got to lock it in. We've got about 10 people. I've still got to catch up with the guys in Netherlands. If you're listening, let's get that happening. Seen a lot of Facebook posts lately going on and their stuff. So yeah, would love to have a chat to them. And yeah, keep it sideways, Tom. Till next time, go Flat Tracker.
Go Flat Tracker. Go Flat Tracker. Go, go, go.